guys, this is Lala Legacy and welcome back to another episode of Symphonic Rain. So let's jump right back in. Val said and laughed, perhaps in an attempt to hide her embarrassment, then handed me a spoon, as though urging me to start. I'll have a bite. Yes, go ahead. I had seen it coming. After all, I'd had her cooking several times before. But delicious! This tasted even better than anything I'd had before. I see. I didn't really need to add any other words. The concept of just letting some pork and vegetables simmer together in a saucepan sounded pretty simple. And well, just making it was probably easy enough, but... Chris, I'm so jealous! I really wanted Forney to have a taste as well, but there was no way she could, so that idea was out. I felt really bad for her. I gave her an apologetic look before continuing to eat. There's lots more, so feel free to have second helpings. Thanks. There's no problem with saving them for leftovers. There's no problem with saving them for leftovers either. Right! Save for one rather sullen Forney, it had been a pretty delightful meal. Since Forney had nothing to do or say, she'd asked me to bring her back to the windowsill. I had made up an excuse to Fal and carried her there. After we finished eating and cleaned up the table, we went back to sit in our previous positions and let the food digest. That was great! You're welcome. With hands clasped together under her chin, Fal kept her gaze fixed on me, never letting her smile wane. Right, thanks. Oh, it's not like I was waiting for an expression of gratitude. After that, without changing her posture, she brought up a completely different subject. Do you want to know why I'm working even during a busy time such as this? Sure, I pondered that a number of times, and I had my own predictions about it. There weren't many plausible answers in the first place. Assuming, of course, the answer was at least something within the bounds of reason. Well, I think you might have already guessed. I don't know if I have. But simply, it's necessary for me to keep up my current way of living. I see. The real question was, why did a student like her need to work to keep up her way of living? What's the matter? Nothing. This isn't a particularly heavy issue. There are plenty of students with part-time jobs, you know? Yeah, I've heard about that. It probably popped up sometime during everyday conversation with Asino or Torta. 4 days a week? That's not that often, is it? I wouldn't know. I don't even work once a week. I take pleasure in my work too. Besides, my shifts have become shorter since yesterday and my salary has remained the same. A pretty good deal, huh? Of course, I fully intend to work for all I'm worth while I'm on duty. She seemed so relaxed, as though she were talking about the most trifling matter in the world. She never touched on the underlying reason for it. I didn't particularly mind. I was afraid of getting any more involved than I was anyway, and it wouldn't help us in any way if she did tell me. I see, but why do you tell me that? Because you expressed interest in my situation, I suppose? And because it's an obstacle to practice on the weekdays. Even so, I don't think you'd actually want to practice every single day. So that was what she was concerned about. Compared to her own diligence, just how lackluster did I come across to her? I guess not. I replied, matching my tone to the same degree of playfulness as hers. Then I suddenly recalled what her first words had been. Because you expressed interest in my situation. Had I really wanted to know about Fal so badly? Was it mere curiosity? Or perhaps... Sorry for taking this into an awkward direction. Anyway, I think we've rested enough. Let's practice. Oh boy. Yeah. I jumped up from my seat energetically in an attempt to change the mood, and approached my foretell. Chris! Forney, who should have been idling around the windowsill, was looking at me with a serious expression on her face. I approached her under the pretense of going to look outside the window and waited for her to continue. Be serious about practice! I gave her a heartfelt nod and went to sit behind my foretell. Oh gosh. Okay, well, I guess I didn't have to do it. After seeing Fal off, I grabbed today's letter from the mailbox on my way back. The scent of casserola still permeating the room invaded my nostrils once again. I wasn't opposed to eating the same thing twice in a row, so I decided to have the remains from this afternoon for dinner. We had lunch pretty late, so I wasn't really hungry yet. I decided to read the letter first and sat down behind my desk. I unfolded the sheet of paper. Dear Chris, is it still raining over there? The weather over here is great as usual. Is it not about time to decide on a partner for the graduation recital? Your previous letter said that it might be someone other than Torta. Do you have a candidate? You're not good at making friends, so I'm a little worried. I have a feeling I wrote the same thing right before you moved, but in the end, you were able to make wonderful friends like Asino. To be honest, I am really not that worried about your friends. Since we live so far apart, I only know the things that Torta writes to me about, right? So I've gotten a little anxious, because I heard there was a girl among your candidates. What's more, I heard she was cute and kind. Since the chances of it being a girl were 50-50, I am not particularly blaming you. But it is still making me a little uneasy. Anyway, I know I'm just griping, so please let whatever I write here slide. On another note, I have an unfortunate announcement to make. I don't think I will be able to visit you this year. About 3 years have passed for me as well since I started working here. Since I've been working hard and enjoy what I do, I have recently been allowed to handle the entire baking process myself, and even train newcomers. It will be especially busy during the year-end period, so I don't think I will be able to leave. It is such a shame I will not be able to see you this year. But it seems that you are busy practicing for your graduation as well, so let us remain patient for a while longer. Come to think of it, that patience will not be required for much longer in the first place. I am very much looking forward to the day of our reunion. Until the next letter, goodbye. P.S. No matter who becomes your partner, please let Torta be the first to know. She is always concerned about you. She is looking after you in my place, after all. Arietta. I needed a little longer than usual to snap out of the lingering memory of Ari. I still hadn't decided on a partner yet. I honestly hadn't. However, if my heart had already started moving into one direction, into the direction of one particular result, then perhaps I had already decided after all. However, if my heart had... Oh, whoops. Sorry, it didn't go through. Chris? Huh? What did Ari write? The same as always. Gently stroking the surface of the neatly folded letter, I repeated those words in a mutter. The same as always. I didn't feel like writing a reply right away, so I kept sitting in my chair for a while. Following the reasoning I had made up in my mind, I decided not to ask Torta to be my partner. But I wondered if I wouldn't end up betraying both Ari and Torta this way. The uneasiness I couldn't quite place, along with the pleasant scent of the casserula, made for a poor combination. So I got up, thinking I would open up a window. Chris! Forney was already standing on top of the music stand, beckoning me. Let's sing! Sure. In the midst of the wave of music, I was no longer shackled to the matters that were troubling me. I could feel Forney's pleasant voice in my skin, and I let myself get carried away by the wave that felt as if it rocked the core of my heart. I wasn't sure how many pieces we had performed in succession, but we had certainly played a lot more than usual. Before I realized it, it had become a time I would normally be asleep, without taking a moment to bask in the to wait. Without taking a moment to bask in the afterglow of the performance, I hastily looked outside the window. Okay, it was dark out, which told me it had become very late. I quickly made preparations to write the reply at my desk. Oh my, it's gotten pretty late. Yeah, I have to hurry and write a reply. Or else you won't have it done before tomorrow morning. Forney seemed unusually curious today as to what I was writing. Didn't I ever tell you not to look at what I write? Who cares? I'm interested. I won't be writing anything out of the ordinary. What about your partner? She asked you about it, didn't she? I think I'll just tell her that I haven't decided yet. You haven't? That's what I said, didn't I? I see. Unfazed by my somewhat angry tone of voice, Forney gave me an oddly understanding nod. And then, free of jest or any real seriousness, Forney said to me, But you'd better make up your mind soon. She flapped her wings, just once before disappearing into thin air. Two weeks have passed since I began to search for a partner. Although I still haven't made a final decision, I believe I've made a fair bit of progress since then. I've been practicing a lot with Fal lately, which has started to become a bit of a habit now. I considered asking her to be my partner, but there was still one thing I couldn't shake from my mind. Arietta had been quite resolute in her statements, but thinking back to it, she's always been the type to go out of her way for me. She might say it's okay, but in truth, she had to be a bit apprehensive, which was why I hadn't been able to get myself to search proactively and kept putting off my final decision. Whoops. Didn't go through again. Still, I had to decide on someone sooner or later. What should I do today? Since Fel had to work today, I should probably ask Torta or Lise, but those were no-goes. Torta was too close to me, and Lise, well, I wasn't even sure myself. When I first heard her singing, I felt some kind of empathy toward her. But I think I might have been afraid of getting too involved. It might have been because she resembled Ari, but I couldn't say so confidently. That said, I couldn't team up with her without having even practiced together. Besides, she was still a freshman. She had no desire to become my partner. Such were the matters running through my mind as I shot sidelong glances at Torta, who was happily nibbling away at her sandwiches. I thought I'd just practice a bit today and go home. 20th of December. Watching Torta down her sandwiches next to me, I absently pondered my next course of action. I didn't have much of a choice. It basically came down to whether or not to invite Fal. Was it really okay for me to keep inviting Fal like this? I was still lost, but the time for a resolution drew nearer with each passing minute. Alright, let's see. I guess we have to go to the left practice room, since it's open. Without being conscious of my actions, My feet were already moving towards Fal's practice room. It was fun to perform together, but now that was no longer the only reason to go. I had learned just how much she strove to be successful and accidentally touched upon some of her secrets. And now I was again standing in front of this door. "Ah, Chris!" Fal called out without looking behind. She then slowly turned to face me. "Shall we go through the piece from the start again? Or how about practicing a few specific parts first?" The words came out naturally, making us appear to be close friends. The score set up in front of the girl was already opened on a passage I remembered having trouble with before. Sure. We honestly haven't met up that frequently, and the time spent together hasn't been that long. But to us, pulling practice session after practice session in the limited time we had, those were all the words required anymore. That compatibility might have only existed on a musical level, though. Oh boy. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Ah, crap. Crap. That leg messed me up. Crap. Oh gosh, I messed that up so bad. How about no? Yeah, I'm not feeling well at all. I really am not. Are you not feeling well? There were a number of spots where it seemed your fingers couldn't keep up. Sorry. Chris. Yes? I sensed a subtle change in her in the tone of her voice. While she still sounded gentle, I could detect a hint of regretful resignation. The words that followed all but confirmed my suspicions. Is something bothering you? Even after all the time we've spent practicing, Is your mind still wandering to someplace elsewhere? I was unable to answer either question. After a short pause, the girl brought up a name I never would have expected to hear. Is it Arietta? How do you know about her? Tortunita told me. But I was the one who pressed her for the information. Sorry. No, it's okay, really. I really didn't want to say it, but you just seemed so troubled. I see. I'm sorry. Oh no, it's not that I'm mad about that. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!